Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are live, and the Divine Feminine Roundtable, we're so happy to be with you today. We're being recorded on Friday the 30th, and as you can see, we have come in our fun lightness of being to celebrate a new era that we are entering with the month of November. Yes, indeed, there is much going on the planet, but there is so much to be optimistic and excited about. So before we begin, let's step into our hearts. Everyone that's listening, let's step into our hearts. Focus your attention on the area of your heart so that the best, highest and best words can come out of this collective gathering. And imagine that your breath is flowing in and out of the heart space, breathing in and out a little slower and deeper than usual. And let's just open our hearts up to the truth of all that is and hold that there for a moment or two. And when you're ready, bring it on back. Do this now moment. And as you were just hearing, Laura has just discovered that she has been removed from Facebook. And what does that mean? It means that we are over the target. So I'm going to use the words of the beloved John Mayer. The delete, the used to be elite, are slow dancing in a burning room. And so they are grasping at everything to try to deflate humanity, to try to encourage all to continue to align to the idea of fear. And so we are at the tipping point. We are at the tipping point, and I feel November is going to be an incredible month. There should be a lot of optimism, because while that's burning, really what we're watching is creator be the creator and the destroyer at the same time. We're witnessing the end of an era, the end of a, like the downfall of the Roman Empire, and those that want to manipulate and control, they're losing all their power. And so we're watching them grasp the last straws that they can. But what's really funny is everything they try to do to stop this backfires on them. It's like right back at you, babe, but like 1,000-fold. And then the rest of us get gifts. So everything they try to do to stop this, we get stronger. Kind of like in the Fifth Element when they were trying to attack Shadow. Remember, they would throw a bomb or two at it and it got bigger. Well, they're trying to do that to the Light Tribe, and we just get stronger and stronger, and our God's tech comes on board. So I just want to start that there. No matter what you've got going on in your world, let that shit go. Come home to the heart, come home to nature, come home to the real, because we're being invited to align to the truth and not to lies. So with that, I open the floor with these beautiful women that have gathered with us today to chat about what's happening and provide hope, inspiration, optimism, and truth. So who would like to go first? As Laura's just discovered, as I say, that her page has been taken down, and many have, which means if they're trying to silence, then that means that they're at the end of their rope. How about you? Would you like to go first, Laura? What do you see the planets and then the stars and all of that stuff?
Well, tomorrow is Halloween, Samhain, full moon happening, and yeah, so exactly. I mean, you can't suppress something like the force of truth and the power of spirit and the willpower of a spirit warrior. So it is what it is, and I know a lot of people have been, shut down, but yeah, these are very significant times. It's a time where we can really call upon our ancestors for guidance and support, and the sun is opposite Uranus with this full moon, And about this full moon,
what does that mean that the sun is opposite Uranus?
Well, that means the moon is conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is a high electrical energy, and it really represents great awakening. It's an electrical energy that really stimulates the nervous system. And when one is open to receive the downloads or the messages coming through, it can be very eye-opening. And I mean, it's incredible that this is, happening, because when we look at the paradigm shift is based in these outer generational planets like Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune. And Uranus is more the great awakener. It causes breakdowns that lead to breakthroughs. It's just one of those kind of, really eye-opening sort of energies. And when we're not able to process the downloads coming through, very often we might feel a lot of nervous tension. Pluto takes us into the death, rebirth, alchemy kind of cycles. And so it takes us more into the dark night of the soul. But Uranus really switches the lights on. So that's great that it's interacting with this full moon in Taurus. So, and that really also affects us on an earth level because Taurus is an earth sign. So full moons already show a heightening of our emotional energy as is, because it's an illumination of, whatever we planted maybe in the new moon time. And it has a lot to do with, our psychic sensitivities. And the artificial component of the moon, sometimes we get stuck in, but if we are moving beyond that into the higher octaves of the lunar energy, then we go beyond the artificial part of it, the Saturn moon matrix part of it. And Uranus is actually a higher octave of the moon, being that it really connects us to a high level of intuition. So if these downloads are coming in from our higher self and we're in connection with the 0-point unified field, we are in a heightened state of psychic awareness without the artificial part of it. And that is kind of how we upgrade and dismantle these dark technologies that have impacted us for so many thousands of years, because the Saturn moon matrix is behind that patriarchal programming and agenda. And so as we see the false rulership of tyranny and these controller groups that are trying to shut everything down, this is going to be a really, really powerful full moon to really blast the energetic field with a lot of light though in the frequency of truth. So that's really good. And so I'll kind of leave it at that. So hear from everybody else. And the Mercury Mars retrogrades going on as well. Mercury's retrograding all the way back into Libra. And it's interesting that these retrogrades are taking place during the election. So there might be some, I just can't imagine what we're in for. I can kind of imagine, but I mean, this is the most intense window, this upcoming election. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts?
Can I first just check in with you, Laura, to see how you're doing? Because to be honest, I think that's pretty big, what you just discovered with the Facebook thing, because you are like a constant stream of information to a large amount of people. And I know that a lot of people are very, I would almost say, dependent on this. So I can imagine this is doing something for you right now.
Yeah, I mean, being in your guys' company is certainly awesome in the face of this. It's like I haven't fully processed it yet because I just want to, be present and not like let it kind of, throw me. It is kind of a big deal. I mean, I have a lot of pages and groups and followers, and I mean, I post there all the time. I'm on the news feed. I mean, it's been a huge part of my life ever since, I don't know, when I first joined a long time ago. So it's going to be really weird, but I'm just going to jump onto other platforms. I've already kind of warned people where to find me to subscribe to my newsletter. I have a free newsletter so I can stay in touch with people. And it is sort of like the end of an era. It's like, okay, there goes Facebook. I still have Twitter. I still have, YouTube. Those might be shut down, but starting to get familiar with these other platforms. And I feel like people will find me. And I fortunately have my website, cosmicgaia.org. But yeah, but it's like the warrior in me is just like, all right, bring it on, you're not gonna stop me. So
do you feel that, oh, sorry.
What's that?
They can't silence truth. In the face of fear, truth always wins.
Yeah.
The lashback that they're gonna get is massive. And Laura's gonna get gifted with 20 times the following, because if they try to silence someone, it's like, oh, I want to hear what they have to say. Probably doubled your following and they don't even know it yet.
We'll see where this all goes. It's certainly, you know, weird. It'll hit me like in the next couple of days when I realize, oh, wait, I can't log in and just post what's on my mind. But Nina, you've been down for a while.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So I think it's been maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks. And I was definitely at first like in shock, and it took me a few days to process it. But then the Galactics came in. Well, it couldn't have taken me a few days. I can't remember anymore, but it was pretty fast. The Galactics came in and they said, you were exited out of that 3D matrix, because as the vibrations are shifting and your resonance is shifting, you can no longer operate in 3D platforms. And it's going to happen to all of you. And so they actually said, we pulled you out. And to be honest with you guys, before I got pulled out of there, I started to realize that whenever I would connect to it or get on it, I would feel very, very tired and start to feel very, very drained. So something in me started going, maybe I'm not supposed to be on here anymore. But then I felt like I had a, the people that I serve and the platform that I use and the people that I was assisting. And I felt like, no, that's the role that I need to play. And there's this stream that's coming through all the time. So they shifted me over to Telegram and I set up a new channel. And it was interesting because then I was told to call Carrie Kay and tell her what had happened. And the next day she was deleted and she set up a channel. So there's been this huge movement over to Telegram. And what's amazing is that, and then also the Galactic Federation of Light, this girl, Aurora, her page was deleted and she had a ton of people following her. So we've begun to understand that they're really targeting the star seeds and the galactics more than the political posts right now. A lot of my friends who are doing the political stuff, they didn't get deleted yet. It's those of us that are talking about ascension, keywords like ascension, solar flash, galactic intel. They don't want our information getting out there because we keep people out of fear. And that's what this is all about. It's all about keeping them in fear. So yeah, there's so much to say, but what's been amazing about it is that it's caused a huge group to move over to Telegram and kind of solidified. So it feels in a way like the Galactic headquarters, to be honest. And also, to be totally honest, before this meeting, I was told that someone in our Divine Feminine Roundtable who has a lot of followings, I didn't know if it would be you or Magenta, to be honest, Laura, I didn't know who it was going to be, would be deleted, and then that would cause a new wave to move over because they're doing this on purpose because they want us all together now. So that's what I wanted to share.
It's kind of perfect what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of perfect. And it was so interesting because my swan song on Facebook, and I put this post on Facebook, and hours later I was deleted and deactivated from Facebook. And my swan song, I actually shared it with Nina. It was "Thank you, Facebook," and it wasn't even sarcastic. It was really true. It was "Thank you for doing this," because in so doing, you're uniting all of the light beings. You're bringing them together. And I know it's not your intention, but it's what you're doing. And I could feel this upwelling of consciousness needing to create a new platform. I didn't realize that hours later I was going to be booted. And Nina, thank you to you. I mean, Nina was just there. It was a huge shock. It was a ginormous shock for me. And it literally took me days. Nina, you say, you know, you got out of it like this. It took me days. I was in grief, I was in anger, I was in mourning. I had this whole process because I never even got to take my photographs of my children that I have on Facebook and at least download them. At least I never got a warning. I never got anything. So the sudden shock for me was huge, and it did take me days, but thank you. Nina was there and she just cradled me and held me and introduced me to Telegram, where I am now. And it's amazing, and the people who are there are all saying the same thing, and that is, it feels so free. It feels so refreshing to be out of that energy. They're saying, like, I never knew how drained I was in that social media platform. But being out of it, it's only really then that you realize, wow, this is a whole new world, and we are all, this is what I mean, how perfect is it? We are all gathering. We're being herded into our own divine space.
Yeah.
And more people are going to join that divine space and jump ship from that controlled, contrived energy until eventually that controlled and contrived energy is just obsolete. And you know what's perfect? They're doing it, not us. We didn't even have to do it. So it's divine. I think it's absolutely divine. I'm, in retrospect, very glad to no longer be on Facebook.
Can I add something to that? So that's the one side, and I wholly agree, and I'm really excited about that. Like, and especially I hope when people watch this that they also can move. I deleted myself off Facebook because I just did it out of protest against what they were doing. I was like, I'll leave, fine. But what I also got, sort of as part of a download, is that things happen on multiple levels always. And one thing is as well is that we've put ourselves out there, and as you know, some of you majorly put yourself out there. But this is also a time to reverse that energy and put all that energy into your own being at the moment, and be quiet, and go through the shift as well, because as much work as we may have done, we still have to go through this shift, and it's like going through a birth canal. And you can't just be out there all the time, you know, scattering your energy all over the place when you're in this very, very auspicious time.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. We are indeed being invited to self-reflect, to bring it all in, bring it in home. So one of the things I wanted to share that the guides were talking about this week in our class, which is a new chapter. A couple of things I think that are just throwing out there as food for thought. One thing that they said was, when it comes to learning, nothing is forbidden and all is useful. I thought that was interesting. All is useful, nothing is forbidden. In the school of learning in physical form, we created a net of hands, because there's thousands of us that gather now with the guides in these classes from all over the world, because of the new cold we have running through the planet. Call it a cold, a little bit of a sniffle. They can't do in-house workshops anymore, right? So what it's done is it's enabled people from all over the world to access the teachings globally. So we created a net of hands, and we lifted all of humanity to what they call the upper room, which is up into Christ mind, which is huge. Every time we do something like that as a collective, something major happens on the planet. They basically said too, that please do remember, anybody that's dropping into fear, that humanity as a whole has decided to ascend. We're doing it anyway. No matter what they throw at us, we're doing it anyway. And that basically fear is being broadcast in a big way by efforts like this to deplatform and silence the truth. It's being broadcasted, but we're being invited to be in a new way of being, which is trust the natural rhythm, trust the real. I wanted to share that. And I loved this, because I think this is going to be my new tagline. They said, true humility, true knowing is when the head is bowed and the heart is ennobled. And that's really what's happening here on the planet when you think about it. We're moving away from the idea of just the mind, the separated ego mind, and we're moving into the glory of the heart. So that's a good thing. I'm going to ask you, Carrie, if it would be okay. Could you please share the Galactic meeting that you attended last night with the Anunnaki that were present? That is going to be profound, because when I listened to that, I just had so much bells of truth ringing and celebration, and if that would be okay.
Yeah, sure. You know, it's, first of all, before I even start with that, it's really interesting. You said that we were going to do a dress up today. And as a South African, we don't really celebrate Halloween. It's kind of, you know, we catch on in Africa very, very late. So I say to my husband, oh my gosh, what am I going to wear? And I just took things out of my jewelry box and this happened. And as I was sitting down, I looked at myself and I went, what am I? And I realized, oh, I'm the warrior goddess, because that's what this look is for me. And it's so interesting that that penny dropped for me, because it ties into just where we are right now, how there's this upsurging of power within each human being. And there's no mistake that that upsurging of power is occurring right now. And what I love about this is each person has already connected to that upsurging of power within them in their very unique, very own divine way. Most of them don't recognize it yet. But whether they're on social media or not, they would have felt something in them shift. And I was in a meeting 2 days ago, the 28th of October, with the Galactics, and it was a very small meeting, and I was prepared for the meeting. I was prepared a few days prior, and I was told that the meeting was with the Anunnaki, which was really great because it was time for me to get out my biases and my judgments and my fears. I'll be honest with you, I even had fear, and the fear was, oh, that I'm just a lowly human and they're these big God beings. So I had a lot of coaching and a lot of preparation for the meeting, until I could sit in my own power, my own neutrality, and my own autonomy. And I sat in that meeting, and for the most part, I was there to witness and to be a human representative for this particular council's discussion. And the discussion revolved around the Anunnaki, what we would call gods. And this is the faction of the Anunnaki being that were the original creators of what we are today, the Earth human. So not the original creators of the humanoid being, but of the Earth human. And they are master geneticists. They came to this planet many hundreds of thousands of years ago, created what to them was going to be a slave race. That would elevate them to the point of being masters or gods, and it would allow them to control this slave race. Now, the story is much longer, and I'm not going to repeat the whole thing because I think people can just go into my YouTube channel and find that. But what was interesting in the meeting was this. The crux of it all was that the Anunnaki, not humanity, but the Anunnaki had requested to separate themselves from humanity. And I put it in very human words, and my very human words are, honey, I want a divorce. You know, that's what it felt like. It was like, this isn't working out for me anymore. And the reason why it wasn't working out for them anymore is because there was an unexpected twist of fate that occurred. I call it the law of the boomerang. The unexpected twist of fate that occurred was because their genetics is inside of us, along with many other species, by the way. We have a effect, a ripple effect on them. So as we ascend, which, you know, in spite of all of the external chaos, all of the external craziness that's going on, we are still in an ascension journey. And I feel like sometimes we need to be reminded, oh yeah, that's what's actually happening. That's what this is about. So they're very well aware that there is an ascension journey taking place within every single human being, whether they know it or not. Each body is being exposed to new light codes, is being activated, is being, in a sense, upgraded in order to receive higher and higher levels of their own awakening. The ripple to the Anunnaki is, that's going to ascend us. And that's not what we did this for. That's not what we expected you to do. Because when they created humanity, they made all those parts of humanity that are capable of ascension dormant. So in a sense, they kind of excluded, whilst they were in our physiology, they excluded connection to these vital points within the human body where I call it the God spark, where the God spark lies. So they never expected for this to occur. They never expected for us to wake up, and yet we are. The ripple effect on them is creating chaos. There are factions within the Anunnaki who are saying, actually, this is pretty good. Actually, I want to go back home. Actually, I want to remember who I am. I've been doing this for millions and millions of years, and that feels like a damn fine idea. But there are also factions within the Anunnaki who are going, oh no, thank you. This is not what we came for. So basically, our ascension was causing chaos for them. And they never anticipated that we would inadvertently evolve them through our evolving. There's this law of entanglement. You cannot give a species your DNA and then expect that you're not going to be affected when they start ascending. That's what's happened. And so, whilst it's true to say that the lower level minions are still running around and might still run around for some time on the planet, the higher ups have officially withdrawn themselves and told the minions, it's time to pack up. The minions are stubborn and foolish, and they're going, we can't hear you, and no, that can't be true. So they might be scurrying for a little while, but that's all that they'll be able to muster. The real clout that we once called the darkness, although that's not an accurate term, but the real clout has now divorced humanity, and that's became official. It was long on the cards, but it became official on the 28th of October.
Oh, Chrissy.
That's the story in a nutshell.
Sorry, I'm getting so excited. I want to say something because I just love what you said. I love synchronicity, and I love that what you just said, because I've had 2 nights ago exactly the same message, exactly the same. And they were tired. So I woke up in the night and I could feel the energy sort of half inside of me of this alien being. And I had been feeling the energy of it already for a few days, where it was like real fatigue and total exhaustion. And it said to me, I'm so done. I am so done with this. I have to go now. And this wasn't a malevolent being. It wasn't benevolent in particular either. It was sort of just doing its job. But the message I got with it is that if our energy departs, it is of vital importance that you refill the energy that we're leaving behind with the full integrity of your own spirit, because otherwise there's gaps. And this energy has been there for so long. When it goes, and it really wants to go, we have to really, really take the time for ourselves and nurture ourselves, and really set this intention on a daily basis of inviting the full integrity of our spirit as it was given to us by Source. It's almost like a mantra. So I just love the synchronicity. Thanks.
You're so right, Chrissy. You're so right about what that means for humanity, is that we get to step up. And that's the only way that this divorce could ever happen, was if there were those among us who were capable, ready, and able, and had already put their hands up and said, I'm going to step up, just in my own life. Not step up for anybody else, just in my own life, to take accountability and responsibility for me. So there were enough of us at that critical level that it facilitated that separation.
It's absolutely amazing, because it's also extremely synchronistic for me, and also synchronistic with exactly what I'm going through in my own life. I'm almost in that place where the divorce that I'm in can finalize, which is quite amazing. And about 2 months ago, I attended a collective divorce from the reptilians, which opened up this place for me to step forward and to forgive and to accept and to move forward with my divorce, because I'm not saying he's reptilian. I'm not saying he's not. That's all I'm going to say. But what was interesting 2 nights ago is that it was a divorce. The mermaids came in, and it was a very, I'm understanding more and more the power of the mermaids, the cosmic divine mother womb, the aspect of the feminine that has been locked underwater And I've been seeing this so much in all of my sessions. The divine feminine that has been raped, burned, prosecuted, persecuted, jailed, that is so traumatized by what the masculine has done to her. And of course, this isn't what the divine masculine has done to her. This is what the pirates, the Anunnaki, the reptilians have done to her. But some of us have played this pattern over and over and over and over because we were very powerful souls and they knew who we were. And so I've been going through this process of divorcing all of these aspects in myself and collectively. But what came up 2 nights ago as I was sitting on the beach was this huge message that came in. They said, you have to divorce the pirates. And I saw all this Masonic symbolism and the skull bones and the crosses. And I went, oh my God, of course I do. And it all just flashed, the understanding of what does the pirate want? It wants to steal your booty. It wants to steal your treasures. It wants to lock you up. It wants to keep you. It doesn't want you to be free. It sees you as a sex object, or it sees you as something to rape, to be bought, to be sold. And I was thinking, wow, it's just another aspect of being hijacked. And they said the entanglement with the siren and the mermaid energy is the pirates, and you need to divorce the pirates. So I went through this huge collective experience of the pirate divorce. And I'm not kidding you, in that moment, these huge, 3 grand, tremendously huge, like Thor-looking galactic warriors arrived, and they were like, boom. And I went, oh my God, who are you? And they said, we are here because you all need more protection now. Because your gifts are ascending, your vibrations are rising. They do know who you are. They said, so just as Carrie had told you, because Carrie and I had just spoken, they said, just as Carrie had told you that as they increase their war on you, we increase our officers to protect you, so to speak. So there's always an equal balance. And I just want to address this too, because there's a lot of women that are going through this without a partner. I'm one of those. I'm alone all the time. And so that is a whole other level of trusting and feeling safe, because you don't have that masculine physical protection near you. Really, you're depending on complete and totally on God. And I know I signed up for this because I wanted to learn about my own divine masculinity, and I wanted to learn about the warrior that I was. But yeah, so that has just been absolutely amazing. And I have felt the shift, and I'm going to be completely and totally vulnerable right now because I don't care not to at this point. But it had been about 3 months since I had missed my own moon cycle. And after that ceremony, it returned. So there's something really huge happening right now. And it feels like it's a return to the womb, to the cosmic mother.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's astounding.
that's amazing. There's lots of newness happening too. I was sharing with Carrie on Sunday or Monday morning, I woke up and I knew without a doubt I was on a craft. So I'm starting to remember my dreams and interactions with our star family, which was super cool. So that's new. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
Sorry, I was just reading a text message there. Sorry. Go.
Oh, you're muted now, Paula.
Yeah, I was saying, I wasn't sure, Laura, if you wanted to add. Chrissy's, I was just reading the text there, so I was distracted for a second.
Well, I'll just resonate with what everybody's saying. I mean, it's wherever it's being forced upon us, you know, through being deplatformed. I mean, that wasn't a clean energy anyway, because of who stands behind it. So that kind of seals the deal where you initiate sort of this breakup with these sort of entities and beings. We've been doing a lot of meditations and kind of ceremonies surrounding that. So it just kind of makes sense that it's a mutual decision, right? It's the end of it where it's the sticky part of trying to figure out who gets what. You know, it's like when you're moving out of a location, it's and you're dealing with sort of the logistics of property. It's sort of that sticky ending of it all. Well, we can't go back and get any of the property that's on the social media. Maybe there's going to be some sort of lawsuit or some sort of big upheaval and backlash that comes from it. I mean, Dorsey ended up having to testify about censoring material on Twitter. So, I mean, it's not going to silence anybody that this is happening, but it creates like a clean break. You can't kind of be in it part way if you're really going to bifurcate. So we're in a period of bifurcation where we would expect to see this, sort of thing, so that we can, create a clean and purified, platform that is on our own terms, that we've, created and manifested without any agreement whatsoever, or contract, or checking the box of we agree to your terms. We don't agree to your terms. No, this is a really important part of this breakup on sort of the world stage level. But when you go into these, background or hidden layers of it all, it's exactly what all of you have said, about the divine feminine, about the Anunnaki and the reptilians. It's, it's going to be a very, very like boring kind of place, because it's just going to be what Hollywood celebrity and just the empty, superficial personality matrix, the world of appearances, the things that have nothing to do with the depth of what we're really reclaiming and what we're really stepping into. So that's going to rise. I mean, we need these sort of catalysts anyway in order to resolve this. So it is a part of a greater agreement, being in the unified field, being in the oneness factor of it all, because we are rising above the lower constructs of ego. We're rising above the parts of ourselves that still allow ourselves to be in some sort of relationship with the things that don't serve us for the sake of being able to reach the rest of our family, right? So, I mean, it was an understandable compromise while it lasted, but now it's like, okay, this is really the bifurcation. This is really rising into the true love story. And this is what I love about the whole upgrading of DNA, because it really does hold a love story, that as we unscramble the fire codes of our DNA, we're actually restoring the balance and the unification of polarity, the integration of polarity, and the reclaiming of the divine blueprint of, the Christ Sophia consciousness. And it doesn't have any time or place to be hooked into anything less, because it keeps the rest almost, kind of unreachable, And so I do feel like that is giving a chance for these lower realms to, purify themselves. And if not, it's going to break away into a phantom earth where it's going to be sitting there, whacking off by itself. Like, where'd everybody go? It's like, where is everybody? And so this bifurcation is leaving behind a parasite that no longer has its host to feed upon. So it only ends up giving it the option of, you're either going to transform and transmute and join in with this collective, rising into the best of all that we are, and the restoration of the tree of life, where we do have a root system and we are anchored with the earth energies. Or it's that assimilation into the AI, into the point where, it loses, the essence of its magic, and it loses its reproductive function. It loses its kundalini. It pretty much loses everything. These are the kind of beings that come back and abduct to regain the genetic material that it lost. So we're seeing the bifurcation on multiple levels now, finally down to the ground level of the physical plane, of how we conduct our everyday lifestyles. No longer are we hooked into, platforms that hold any piece of those, kind of relationships and compromise. It was fine while it lasted, because we all found each other, and now it's like, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about the celebrity world, like they're it's empty, it's vapid. There's nothing left. There's nothing left there. You bring up a really good point though, Laura, about the template, because that's something else that the guides talked about this week. At some point, that template needs to be replaced. And that's what they meant by we're on the precipice, the tipping point of that old template being removed, and the true divine template, what our birthright is, that we get to claim our birthright and claim the kingdom here, finally. That's so exciting. So yes, it's on fire. Yes, it's burning. I feel like that song, let the motherfucker burn. Bye-bye. Doesn't everybody anyway, right? The roof is on fire. We don't need to, let the mofo burn. Let it burn. It doesn't serve us all anyway. This is the destroyer and the creator. And we get to witness this. This is the part that's so trippy. We get to witness the recreation of this reality in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
The way that I understand it, it's kind of like today we see 72 colors of the light spectrum. All of a sudden we'll see 292. I mean, we're all going to be walking around like we're on acid or something for a little while, trying to, wow, like I'm on Avatar, right? Not that I'm saying that's a good idea, but you know, when you've been upside down for so long and then get right-sided, it takes a little bit to get your bearings, right? But it's so exciting.
So who should go? Okay, so sorry, sweetie. So I just wanted to jump in here because the updates that I've been receiving are that the insanity level is going to be increasing, and as these frequencies are increasing, we're going to see a lot more insanity, and we really have to be prepared to laugh at it. We're already seeing the mayor of Portland came out, he announced the death toll in clown makeup. I mean, it's really that those that are possessed are being sunlighted. And so we're seeing it in our faces now more than ever. We're going to see celebrities coming out saying, I don't care if the Democrats are pedophiles. I don't care if they're part of the Chinese Communist Party. I'm going to vote for them anyways. That literally just happened. And that's basically what they're doing, is they're pledging their lives to Satan. So we're going to see a lot more of this insanity, and we're going to have to learn to read between the lines, but also laugh. Because guys, this is a show, and we have to remember that, yes, it's very real, and there is going to be death, and there is going to be attacks, and there's going to be all of this. But we have to understand that our souls are eternal, that the divine is in control, and that we can either go through this terrified, or we can go through this as freaking warriors of the light, laughing our way to the top, dancing our way to the top of ascension. And that is what I am all about. The other thing that I wanted to share is that I just want to address what's happening in France and the UK right now. So in France, if you guys are in Paris and you're listening to this and you can get out, please do. Once again, I've been saying that all along. Now it's happening. Paris and France, but specifically Paris, is under attack by New World Order agenda, but also ISIS under Obama. So what just happened was a beheading in Nice, as well as 2 stabbings. I believe there was also a beheading in the UK. This is also why Trump closed our borders to certain countries coming in, because he was aware of this and because he's not in bed with the Chinese Communist Party. So everyone needs to be aware of what's going on there. The New World Order is rolling out over there also to wake people up, because certain people still need to wake up. There's a ton of people over there that still say Orange Man bad. They have no idea what's going on. They refuse to listen to any of our truth. I'm one of the people that's always trying to tell my friends what's going on over there, and they're always telling me I'm crazy and nuts. So, okay, they need to have enforced vaccination under the Gates Foundation. And these are the things that Paris and the UK are now saying yes to. So that's what's going on also in the UK. They're already talking about New World Order. There was a ridiculous announcement made by their, Laura, I don't know if you guys saw that, their president, that ridiculous man who's like, it was like something out of Dante's Hell, where he was sitting there talking about science taking over and vaccinations and this and that. And I mean, it's literally like we're watching something out of Clockwork Orange, and we just have to see it that way. The other intel that I understand is that Trump is going to win 100%. We all know this. God said it is so. But the attacks are going to get worse. And so it might be time to leave cities, and people need to be prepared for that. And that's not coming from fear. It's coming from the fact that you are a warrior of light. And sometimes that means that the intel, the galactic intel, comes in, or God comes into your heart and says, get out, and you need to listen to that. So that's what I wanted to share right now. This is a battle. So we need to be in battle mode all the time, 24/7. And that doesn't mean fear. There's a new activation of the indigo fire awakening in all right now. It's absolutely important that we activate our own divine codes, and that we cover ourselves in our light suits and in our prayer, and that we're at the ready all the time listening, because that is what's going to keep us safe. Done.
Thank you, Nina.
Well said, Nina. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to add to that real quick, Chrissy, before you jump in, that they're even telegraphing their moves already in the States. It's all in the liberal cities. There are apartment buildings in New York City who had hired private security. So they're already telling people that if Donald Trump wins, which we know he will, there's going to be riots and they're going to cause damage. And then the other thing I just wanted to add to that is the guides have said that we don't necessarily have to see this thing play out. We don't necessarily have to see this play out. This switch of the reality could potentially come at that point when there is this massive street fight. Maybe it's 12 hours, maybe it's 24, but it'll be like that clown person. I saw that when that governor with full clown makeup is talking about. So the level of insanity, the level of deception, lies, that of course needs to come to the surface to be seen, but it's really to be celebrated, because if we can see that, all that muck on the surface, that means we're really close. That means we're really super, super close to the shift. So go ahead, Chrissy. My apologies.
No, it's all in line with what I was about to say, because in my vision, I've always seen the craziness that was going to happen. That was 10 years ago, that there was this massive craziness because it's this fourth dimensional mind energy, and that nothing is crazy enough. Like everything goes in this shift, everything goes. But we ourselves are not immune to this either, unless of course we've done a lot of work. But in my particular case, I'm also, experiencing my own inner craziness, things that I hide that suddenly like come to the surface without me having any check or control over it. And I'm like behaving like a little adolescent sometimes, and I'll say things that are completely, like what an adolescent would say. And the message I got from that was that this is the 11th hour. This is the moment where we don't just look out at other people's craziness, but we also look at, hey, what am I still doing that I haven't actually dealt with? And, so I'm back in my own country now, and often shadow material comes up in your place of birth, your sacred space of birth. And for me, that's a lot of things that I haven't dealt with. And I left the country when I was 18. So now I'm suddenly having to deal with it. And if I don't deal with it, it will start to play out and I have no control over it. So it's actually quite, in a way, it's quite funny. It's also really hard. But in that sense, there is a little bit of a silver lining to the whole Corona lockdown situation, because you are bound to staying within four walls. A lot of people have to be alone. And there's also a real opportunity that can be had in this situation, which is to really deal with your own stuff and really take it seriously and not run away like what I used to do, is grab my passport and run away to another country and be, like creative with it. I can't be creative with it right now. I have to be here in these four walls and deal with my own insanity. And yeah, I just thought I wanted to share that one because it's also within us, this whole thing.
I've actually noticed the same thing happening with me, is things coming out of my mouth completely unfiltered, going, where did that come from? Like no filter, no political correctness, no appropriateness, just going like, wow, what happened there? So I got you.
I think also there's so much inner change and transformation to the physical body that's taking place for people, that in amidst all of this chaos and all of this craziness, whether it's in your country and you are experiencing it firsthand, or whether you are a being of planet Earth being a witness to it, there is nobody who's left untouched by the external chaos. Yet, whilst all of this plays out, there is the inner chaos that rises. And like Chrissy so perfectly said, must be dealt with. And it's an unexpected chaos, because this is where we are right now, is end time madness. This is what it's called. This is end time madness, where people behave in ways you would never have expected, whether it is on national television or it's your next door neighbor or it's your own family members. There are jaw-dropping moments in the world right now that you're thinking, is this for real? Am I on a reality show and people are watching me, because this can't possibly be life? And of course it is. So to come into that awareness that this is both the end time and the beginning time simultaneously. Both are coexisting inside the physical body right now. So the physical body needs such honoring and such love and such respect, because this is where ascension takes place. It doesn't take place on a cloud out there. It takes place in the very real inner world. And if we could take the gift that Chrissy pointed out so perfectly of immersing ourselves in that inner world, even if it means sitting on your bed for 2 minutes and consciously shutting every external influence away from you so that all you can feel is your own heartbeat. So simple. And it's not like, oh God, I need to devote the next 15 years to this now. You need to devote the next 2 minutes to this right now. And perhaps tomorrow you'll also do 2 minutes, and so you'll go. But what will eventually happen is you will regain the connection to self. You will regain trust in yourself. You'll regain your own personal identity, which without realizing it, most human beings have forsaken and turned away from their own truth. That's why we see the chaos. That's why we can't imagine what we're seeing, because most people are unplugged from who they even are. Yet we become the examples, we become the leaders, we become those who lead our own lives finally, freely and fully from the inside amidst the chaos. So that makes us the calm in the storm. That makes us creatures of infinite power, which is why Nina was talking about and I was talking about the warrior aspect. It's the divine warrior. It's not the warrior going to war. It's the warrior that knows, I'm here to reclaim me. That's why the warrior is necessary. It's to reclaim the truth of who we are. And nothing could be more divine. Nothing could be more powerful than what we're doing right now. So yes, external chaos. Yes, inner chaos. But connect to that inner chaos and you'll find that what it does is it just dissolves. You know, it's like, I see it as bubbly and effervescent. That as I close my eyes and I step into the centered silence of me, all of that chaos becomes like an effervescent, dissolving material. And what's left is this open space, and it's filled by peace. And every single one of us right now is capable of stepping into that peace. You know, whether you're Laura, who's just been deplatformed. I mean, Laura, I can't imagine what is going on for you right now, because it set my world upside down and inside out. And I'm not saying it'll do the same for you, but it's a monumental shift that we're all going through. Yet we have this, and we have each other. You know, whether you have, and I speak now to the people who are listening, whether you have a circle of friends, because look how blessed we are, right? Look how blessed we are that we can connect to each other. How blessed I was that Paula and Nina both they were there for me when I was going through my chaos and coming to terms with it. And maybe the person listening to this is going, so I don't have my circle. I don't have those friends. You might not know their names, and you might never have seen them before, but they exist on planet Earth right now. They're a part of your tribe, and they're connected to you, whether you know it or not, whether you know them or not. So in those silent, scary places where you need an ally, there is an ally. I want everybody to know that you all have more allies than you could ever imagine. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
I would love to come back to this part about being deplatformed, because the message that I've been getting is that what's going to happen is when things get really, really crazy, like there's plans to attack the White House, they're planning to shut down the power on the White House. Basically, when they're amping up the fear a lot, it would be great for all of us to be able to connect with each other. And so I was getting the messages, I told you, Paula, to set up a Divine Feminine Roundtable on Telegram, because Telegram seems to be one of the safest places right now. It's also where all of the Q channels are, and it's where a lot of those that got kicked off of Facebook already had set up channels, and it's kind of on fire, to be honest, more than MeWe at this point. Oh,
I'm a little confused about Telegram because I've been getting your messages. Sometimes I notice I can't respond. Is it only an app, or is it something you can do on the computer?
so yes, it's an app. You can have a channel, which is just your own information coming out, and then you can create a channel chat. So it's a chat room connected to your channel where people can all converse about everything that you're putting out and converse with each other. That's what Carrie and I have both done. So you're probably just connected to my channel, which would be like David Avocado Wolf has a channel on there. So all the information he has, it's just like his channel, it's all his information. You can't post on that, but the channel chat, if he makes that, is connected to that, which is what you could have, Laura.
I'm getting messages from you right now.
From me?
Yeah, from Telegram. It's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really funny. I'm not sending them right now, but when?
It must be some.
I just wanted to make sure to clarify that, but keep going with what you're saying about it.
Yeah, so if we made a Divine Feminine Roundtable channel where all of us could be admins to share whatever we want, and then create a Divine Feminine Roundtable chat, that would allow everybody else to chat and to share as well. So it would be connected to each other. The other thing that I've been hearing is the best new YouTube, because they're going to take down, they might take this down, to be honest. That's them, they might take all of us down off YouTube eventually, would be, it's called I think it's called NewTube or something like that. Brand New Tube. Yeah. That's a really safe place too. So maybe we should send out some information on DFT on Facebook about where we'll be to prepare for this, since we know it's coming. I mean, it's obviously coming. What do you think, Paula?
Sorry, I had a malfunction. As I said, I was wearing my wedding dress and I moved because my battery was about to go and it busted open. So I had to go put my t-shirt on. So we've still got the angel headdress, but I've had to put my tea on. So anyway, yes, we will talk offline. I don't know a lot about some of these platforms. As I say, I had to step away. I've just opened an account with Telegram, meaning I have the app, but I haven't opened it up there. But yeah, I think that we should absolutely just give me some guidance offline, Nina, on where we will be. We'll get that built and we'll add that to this upload. I've even been seeing some people are being taken down on Vimeo, but BitChute is another one that we can probably upload videos. Most things that have been banned on YouTube are still accessible on BitChute. So you can find us there. On all of these videos, we've always had the credits so folks can find, I'm sure they'll find us. They'll find us, right?
Yeah, we should probably just maybe make a little plan though, so that they know where to find us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we get that note out for sure.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Chrissy.
I had just 2 messages last night because I keep waking up at 4:44, my time of birth. And I had 2 messages and I just wanted to share them as well. That's okay. One of them is that we have to let go of control. And that is also control of trying to do everything right. So like having all the right nutrition, getting all the right exercise, and like really beating ourselves up about if we don't do it. But it actually can get in the way, because letting it all go means that our shadow comes up quicker and we can deal with it quicker. So that was one thing I got. And the other thing, which is really, really important, is that if we really want to feel the 5th dimensional energy, it's of vital importance that we slow down, that we completely slow down, instead of going on that anxiety and we have to do this and we have to do this, but to really take our time and not take any notice of what the clock says. So just, yeah, go with the flow as much as you can, and that will accelerate the process. Anyway, that's what I got. So thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and also to add to that is, you know, as Carrie said, just take 2 minutes and let all of that go. Hand on heart and just heartbeat. Breathe into the heart. That's the portal, that's the gateway. And this is your only guide over these next crazy couple of weeks. Internal higher self. You will not find solace in anything outside of you. You will not, we won't, the only thing we can trust now is the inner net, the inner guidance, our own higher wisdom. And because, you know, we're entering the muckiest part, it's always darkest before dawn. At the same time, though, we're going to have all these incredible gifts coming up, like me remembering being on a craft. Just a very simple example. As far as energy-wise, you know, one day, completely exhausted. The very next day, though, I could say that I was going into labor. I had so much energy and I had to get ready. So there's a sense of urgency happening, I feel like, at the same time, like we're getting ready for something, which is interesting to be called to slow down the internal world when you're feeling like I gotta get ready for something. Go ahead, Carrie.
The more you slow down, the more you can do. The more energy you have. That's what I wanted to say. That slowdown is so imperative, because I don't know what happens, but suddenly time stops spinning as frantically as you are. When you slow down, time comes into balance with you, and you find that you can actually get more done.
Yeah, I mean, that's being in alignment with the organic ascension, you know, signals, and being in that alignment allows the cosmic and natural laws to move through us to create the divine justice that we're seeking. So, I mean, we're in the alchemy time of the year. Ever since the sun was moving through the 13th sign of Fiacus starting in 2010, from November 30th to December 17th, the sun passes through the 13th sign and it's ruled by the ether. So when we go from Scorpio to Sagittarius, now we go through these, you know, purifying energies, the crystalline waters. We go through the purification so that we rise out of the primordial sea of chaos, of the chaos that we're in, with a certain level of wholeness and clarity. It's sort of like, and everything, you know, that doesn't serve us, it just continues to fall away. Right now, we're like in the static of it all and the craziness of it all. But like you said, like the eye of the storm and all this stuff is swirling around. We're entering the alchemical time of the year. And this is a vibration that people are, you know, sort of getting used to, because it didn't really start to happen until 2010. You know, the last 26,000 years of very dark history, dark ages, and just really like low vibration, low density energy began to lift around that time. That's why 2012 has been so, you know, prophesized as being this, you know, very significant time and date, but it's a much bigger window, of course, than that. And that's because we're moving through the alchemical waters, we're moving through the ether, and the mother arc energies are now here creating those corrections. And the teams of grid workers have been here correcting the reversals and working on the energetic grids of the planetary body. So that holds the upper hand. The consciousness of this planet and her nervous system, her circulatory system, and all the stargates have the upper hand. So they try to program the global grid system with these dark technologies to play out the artificial timelines, like a programmed rollout, like we're seeing, you know, like, and they keep playing their cards, like, okay, this is the next level of it. But it isn't just the plan through media, through you know, these different power structures. It's also something that's impacted the planetary body with these harvesting and siphoning technologies that have, you know, plugged into us to, you know, steal our energies in order to power up and battery these artificial timelines. So it's really great to be able to unplug, because it's through, you know, I mean, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And the more they try and stop one, and this is how I got away from the Mars recruiters. I said, the more you try and control me, the more of a monster I become, and the more empowered I become, the more sovereign I become. Thank you. You know, and when we can bless adversity and recognize that it's our friend, because we're not in duality, really, that's more of a programming. When we, you know, recognize that the integration of these polarities is what's allowing us to rise out of it. There's nothing that they can't do to defeat us when we continue to rise. So exactly what you were saying earlier, I mean, despite this, you know, these mandates and this lockdown, the force and power of the spirit rises in the face of something that's trying to, you know, shut it down. Only fear can allow itself to be chained. You know, that's what consents to mandates and things like, you know, this virus and all the different tactics is to convince us, it's to deceive us and to put us in a place of fear. Anybody who is not in a space of fear, there is no chain that you can put upon spirit that will not dissolve it and crush it. So I'm really excited. I mean, energetically, what I'm feeling right now is really uplifting. I'm not feeling stressed at all. Like when COVID first hit, I felt like this heaviness before it even came out in the news. It was like this depression and heaviness that I could not pinpoint. And I knew that I'm going to clear it. I'm going to work with it. I'm going to like move through it. It is what it is. But then, you know, the news came out and all the madness and craziness, you know, came out. And, you know, it's more that's being plopped on us to begin to dissolve and clear. And it's just wonderful to know that we're moving into the alchemical time of the year where we are moving through these purifying rays of energy. And by the time December 21st hits, when we have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, and we begin to enter the Saturn square Uranus, where Saturn's trying with all its might to hold us down and keep that light energy from expanding. It's slowly beginning to leave it in the dust. And it's like, you're either on board or you're going to fall away. And have fun on Phantom Earth, because we're not coming.
That's right.
I have to say, so as I say, I'm a guest in my CrossFit gym. If I moved this tapestry behind me, you would see a lot of equipment. And so the owner has just come in, and we have someone coming in very soon to do their training. So we have to wrap up soon. So
Okay.
we're wrapping. Say quickly, Chrissy, and then I'm going to do
21st of December that Laura just mentioned, that my film that I've been working on, the blueprint, is coming out on that day, because it's seeding the new paradigm. It's all a film all about what we can do on this new template. So this will be shown on Iconic, that I work for, of course, iconic.com, on 21st of December. Anyway, just thought I'd add that.
Gosh, good job.
That's awesome. I can't wait to. Well, you'll share the link and we'll be able to find it easily. So in closing, everybody, remember, fear is a liar. There is nothing stronger than God. And that is what we're moving into. Finally, we can reclaim. And this is going to be the most interesting, crazy reality show as we walk through this over the next couple of weeks. Stay true to your hearts, trust, and agree to the truth, and we'll be fine. Godspeed. Love you muchly. I'm going to stop recording now.